Welcome to the NYC Youth Sports Podcast Show. This is your host, not coach, Uncle Milt. What's up, Joe?
What's going on?
Got Joe here, and we're gonna be doing some things tonight. We're gonna start some trouble. We're gonna be doing some things. We got something I made up for the Big Apple playoff and Super Bowl. I got a fantasy list, and then I left the chart home, so I gotta post it on Facebook later on tonight. And so we're gonna have some fun with it, and I'll start a little trouble, start a little controversy up. But later on tonight, we're gonna talk about that Chief game, Chiefs in Hudson County. I was there. Also Hempstead and the Chiefs. Shout out to Coach Malik, and shout out to Coach Skeeter from Hempstead. It was a really good game out in Long Island. We're gonna talk about that and some other things I like to get off my chest. Uncle Milt like to get off my chest. I had an interesting conversation with a coach over the phone. We're going to talk about that a little bit later on in a later hour. But just like I said, we're a real sports show. We talk to real people who do real things in youth sports. And we have a guest right here, Mr. David Patterson. He's the founder and the director of putting it all together in that Pioneer League up in the Bronx. Is I'm saying it right, sir?
Yeah, man.
Up in the Bronx. We welcome David Patterson. Glad to have you, man.
Thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
Yeah. So we wanted Sean Garbo in, his president, to talk about his teams and what teams he has here in New York City and New Jersey. But we was able to get him, but later on down the line, we're gonna try to get him in the studio, try to get him on the Skype or whatever, Zoom or rather, and talk about what he's doing over there with football programs and everything. But we glad to have the man putting it all together, David Patterson.
I appreciate
it. And we're glad to have him. And I want to start off with tell us how you got your start in doing this.
Start in youth football. Actually, my start in football was the Co-op City Cowboys out of Co-op City in the Bronx. And Coach Ivor over there was running an absolutely phenomenal program. Hooked on with them just to donate some time. I'm originally from New Jersey, played college ball in Pennsylvania, and I ended up in New York for law school or what have you. So just donating some time or what have you, got involved with kids or what have you, and then ended up doing some marketing and other things for a program called the New York Bandits, which is a minor league or semi-pro football organization. And then from there, went to owning teams myself, and then from there went to expanding, partnered up with some great people, including Sean Godbolt, and that's how I ended up filtering down from adult or semi-pro all the way down high school, all the way down into youth.
Okay, so you cover a variety of ages. You have a youth program, you have a high school program, and you also have semi-pro program.
Yeah, literally a kid can join our ranks at 6 years old and play football with us until they retire from whatever profession they choose as an adult.
All right. Because I know, so how many, in this Pioneer League, how many sports you covered?
Good question. We have a bunch of affiliations. I myself have my hand in softball, basketball, and football. I also own football teams, adult teams in the New England area. Maine, Boston, up and down the East Coast or what have you. I'm part owner with my guy Mason Morgan. He is up in Maine. We own the IFA, which is the Independent Football Association, which kind of builds off of the whole pioneer movement, which was like the first time that really you heard like an independent, non-affiliation, let's work with everybody type of vibe, which really kind of like it ruffled some feathers, but at the same time, I think the Pioneers' footprint definitely has made a mark for the better, not just for the Pioneer guys, but for everybody.
So what area in New York City or the state that you operate in?
We operate right now predominantly out of the Bronx. We do have teams in Brooklyn, the Coney Island Sharks, which are doing an amazing job really quickly. They lost one of their coaches during the COVID or what have you, and really had a hard time. But again, they're resurfaced and even better than ever right now. They're doing a great job. Bronx, Brooklyn, even have some teams that we do affiliations with, because ultimately, as we were saying before, it's very hard for youth football coaches and owners to get along. So we kind of just section off where we need to section off and then work with everybody in whatever capacity we can. So you'll see the Pioneer product pretty much everywhere, even if it's not, blaring in your face like in print or what have you. We even have a deal with Columbia University and Fordham University where they're affiliates of ours, and our kids are welcome in their doors when there's not COVID. But absolutely like awesome stuff that we're doing with college access.
So how many youth football teams you have?
That's a good question. That would be a Sean question. I think last time I checked, we had, 8 teams in each of the divisions. I could be wrong about that. In my retirement, I put in, 5 solid years of managing. I was out. Golly, we used to have, 3 games on Friday night. I would go to all 3. I would go to Saturday games, and I would go to Sunday games. I was putting in 13 to 15 games a weekend. My wife is a very patient woman. So Sean's operating, and we'll get into kind of how he operates from there. But he would give you a better detailed answer on who.
So it's is it weighted or unlimited?
Unlimited weight has been unlimited weight from day one. That was one of the initiatives that I insisted on when I agreed to do it. Not putting kids on the scale, not their job as kids, especially in a society and a section socioeconomic status where the Bronx is the most obese yet undernourished borough or section in the nation. So we're not interfering with the way a child grows. We're not going to put them on a scale or have them do insane weight loss programs. We're not doing that. And the other part of that is on a football field, there's going to be mismatches. We know this. I would rather have a mismatch in weight than a mismatch in speed. Speed hurts a lot more than weight.
Well, yeah, because we have a program that we put in a 6-part program. We started Monday about we wanted you to be in the meeting, but we just got your information late, and for your view about weighted football, is it at its end? Is it
It should be at its end, and even like the wrestling programs. And again, one of the reasons why when we were talking about the deficiencies in New York football, New York City especially, high school on down, New Jersey, Pennsylvania, Texas, Iowa, those are all states that take a lot of pride in wrestling. And wrestling historically has been the grounds in which these crazy weight loss programs have been disasters or what have you. But at the same time, the good part that can be put from it is that the wrestling techniques and the wrestling atmosphere is something that has put the states that are on top, that's how they got there. New York City, kids 6'4", 275 pounds and think they're a point guard.
Yeah, I know one. I know a kid like that. And get your bond down in the paint.
Yeah,
and leave me alone.
Put your hand in the dirt, man. You're not a point guard.
So we had the discussion. It's not like we advocating the end weighted, but I'm seeing that it's easy to get the kids in.
The purpose is to get the kids off the street, and
it's easy to get the kids to play.
We also discussed at length that you have to get parents' approval, especially with the assault on football. And one thing that all the leagues came together, Empire, Pioneer, Big Apple, everybody agreed on was that the city especially, and there were certain representatives, I think it was on this side of the bridge or whatever. I'm not taking a shot at Queens, but y'all just do some different stuff.
Yeah.
That was trying to end youth football.
Yeah.
And everybody,
you mean the politicians?
Correct.
Yeah.
Everybody got together and really did the rallying cry on that. But at the same time, with that happening, you have to get specifically mom's approval.
Yeah.
And the Pioneer League from day one has done Mom's Clinic. We've really pushed even the female players that we have. We've profiled them and really made it an all-access type of program. And if Mom's good with it, then you're going to end up having access with more. Because I even had my wife do a coach's clinic for the women, for the moms.
That's needed. That's needed. That's very good. That you kind of bring them in and saying, you know, this is what we're trying to do here, and this is how we do it, and blah, blah, blah.
And most of the incidences in youth football usually starts with, we call them a helicopter mom. The mom that sees their baby get hit a little too hard, so they swoop in like a helicopter, pick their baby up. Not my baby. If they know what they're going to see and they understand the processes and you make mom good with it, you're going to be fine.
Yeah. You know, that's the thing, man. You know, that is the biggest thing. It's mom kind of rule youth sports, and you have to include them in every process you do. A lot of people don't, but you do, because they control the kid.
It's definitely the old school thought, the same coaches where you see the Oklahoma drills, which used to prove who was a football player and who's not. All like football has changed, like the game has changed, and there's a lot of people that just it passed by, and either they have to update or they have to find another hobby. Yeah,
you know, well, I found that there's different ways you can incorporate different drills. USA football they leading the way on how to do certain things, and you just gotta revolve and learn. And we all, as coaches, gotta revolve and learn. You know, if you want to continue this game, you have to teach the kids a little, just tweak it a little bit and teach the kids. But fundamentals is very important, and also staying in shape. In fitness and things like that, that's important also.
And also the diversification of sports. You know, I mean, I know people think that in Florida all they do is play football. Yeah, I get that. But the Floridians, those kids that are playing football, are also on the track team.
Yes.
They're doing other things.
They're doing other things, basketball,
football.
And it's having your kid in a lot of different things, sports.
Indeed. So it's not football all year round. It's not football training in the wintertime and football training in the springtime. Get your kid out, get them to try different sports. My dad played for professional football for the Washington Redskins. Now the Washington football team, but he was a Redskin. Played for Vince Lombardi. I grew up in a household where football was in the blood. I wanted to play football, but my dad, you're going to do soccer for a few. You're going to do basketball. You're going to do wrestling. Yeah. And he knew what he was talking about.
Yeah, getting you a variety of things. Yeah, so I got another question. I'm gonna wait till after break. We're gonna take our break, and we're gonna come back with Coach David Patterson from the Pioneer League. We're gonna come back.
A community fundraiser. Each of us helps one of us. Think of a community hit with an epidemic that created financial devastation, massive unemployment, housing problems, and food shortages. To help the community to weather the tough times ahead, we must pull our resources together and create a cycle of funding. A one-time resource is help required. Each of us helps one of us with this continuously cycle of support. We'll relieve the burden off of you, the individual, with the help from the community. To join our community, email us at eachofushelpsoneofus@gmail.com. Leave your name and date of birth, and we'll send you the instruction video.
To create a perfect student athlete, you must enhance these attributes: mind, body, and soul. In other words, education, fitness, and nutrition must be a part of your life. And it starts right here at the New York City Youth Sports Initiative.
Here's 5 ways to support NYC Youth Sports Podcast Show. 1. Push the subscribe button, like it, and leave a comment. 2. Donation. What you can. It will be appreciated. 3. Promote what you're doing or your kid's achievement in youth sports with our $10 on-the-screen ad spot. $10 per show or $30 a month. 4. Share this podcast show with others on social media. 5. Buy our show's apparel on Amazon.com. Thank you for your participation.
We're back, NYC Youth Sports. We're here with David Patterson, founder and owner of Pioneer League. Anybody got a question for Dave? Call us up at 718-873-2017. That's 718-873-2017. Hit extension 1, and you'll be live on the air. I know we talked about Dave, because I know I was telling you that the older kids, 14, 15, 16, 17, and I was talking to another person, like, why, they still dealing with these kids? Why they don't send them to high school? And you told me something very interesting on the phone when I brought it up to you. And I want you to just tell it to our listeners on why the older kids that doesn't go to high school programs have, what is the benefits of doing that instead? Absolutely.
So I think it's not just an older kid's issue that you have to deal with. In education, I'm a teacher by trade. So me myself, I'm a specialist in history for middle school. So I'm certified 7 through 12. And teaching in the Bronx, especially the South Bronx, for example, I have certain classes where I have a kid that is from Yemen and he speaks Arabic, and I have a couple other kids that literally just came in from the Dominican Republic. Now, am I going to teach that whole entire class the same exact way? That doesn't make any sense.
No.
I'm going to sit here with a workbook that's all in English. Like, if you were to go to, pick any country that you, literally have the least type of interest in, right? And you sit in that country and somebody gives you a book that's in that language and nothing else. Wouldn't you look at them like they're out of their mind?
Yeah.
Indeed. So this is what we essentially do in football. We just recruit all these kids and we say, hey, look, you're either going to stick or you're not going to stick. We don't take any type of credence in whatever their situation is going to be. It could be that they have a variety of skills, backgrounds, or what have you. Now, keep in mind, I have some kids that, for example, during the school day, have to have an adult with them the whole entire day. Some of these kids are playing football. So if a kid has an IEP, or if a kid has some type of specialized learning disability or what have you, by not knowing, and I know there's privacy with that, privacy laws or whatever, but just having no idea on why that student's report card looks the way it looks, or even speaking to a parent about how you can service their child better. So the bottom line is there are ins and outs when it comes to this thing. So when the kid comes in, if your kid that comes in at 6 years old and goes through the program and ends up being on your 8U team, your 10U team, your 12U team, those are probably going to be your best players just because they have more time in. Now, for the kids that have different entry points, why on earth are you going to put them out to the wolves so that they hate football for the rest of their life?
All right, so let me get to understand what you said, Mr. Patterson.
Yes, sir.
Older kid, you have older kid that come in at 12, right?
Never played football
Never
before.
played football
Don't
before.
even know how to put the pads on.
Okay. It happens in youth football, So he has a 2-year process before he goes into high school.
There you go.
So you're offering an extending option as far as youth football.
Correct. So that's what our tri-state program does. So for a kid that isn't ready to do something like, for example, Brandon Davis in DEA, they do legit travel. They play teams. They don't even know half the times where they're going. Where are you? New Hampshire? We'll figure it out. We'll get there, no problem. That type of level of football with the tryouts and cuts and stuff like that, it's not for everybody. So let's provide entry points for a variety of students and a variety of players. So as a 12U kid coming in, and you're brand new, don't even know how to put your pads on, you can go to a tri-state team, learn the fundamentals of the game, play games, and not just be somebody's whipping boy in practice.
Okay.
Learn the game. And by the way, some of those players, when you talk about high school transition, are some of the favorite players for high school coaches, because some of our accelerated...
They're coachable.
Right. So some of the most established programs, some coaches will sit there, high school coaches will sit there and go, I mean, I like that program and all, but literally when the kid comes here, they think that that particular program's way is the only way to do things. And then I have to uncoach these bad habits and then recoach. I'd rather have somebody just raw. And the Bronx Steelers, for example, are known for that. The Bronx Steelers, they might not have the football acumen, and they may not be able to speak football to you in the traditional sense that would be above, your standards or what have you. But the kid is fast, the kid is physical, and has no fear. And that's from playing with those type of programs. So as you said, there's space for everybody. So just because you're not going to Florida every year, and just because you're not on the fancy graphics with the top, 10 whatevers or whatever, it doesn't mean that you're playing inferior. It just means you have different entry points.
So how many kids that comes into this program go to college?
Go to college
and play football as
a majority. Okay, so this is a New York thing too, by the way. I know your audience is New York. I'm gonna talk about you. I'm from New Jersey, so that's where my swag comes from. So New York players, especially the older players, have this myth that playing college football is like an easy thing to do. Like you just sign up and go. Like they don't have the lifestyle that college football allows.
Speak, Pastor.
They don't even have the lifestyle that really top-notch high school teams require. Yeah. And they said, well, I'm not going to play for this high school because they're bad, so I'm going to play for this independent team or outside team. Yeah. That's what most high school coaches are afraid of. High school coaches are afraid of a kid not rising to the challenge of their standards and being able to run to their local independent team, local team, to play football instead of them. That's not what we do. We had, at one point, I think we had like 11 or 12 high school teams, and we were running high school teams like second to none. The Bronx Buccaneers and the Harlem Jets. If you went to see one of their games at 128th Street on a Friday night during the heyday of the Pioneer League's high school program, it was like being at the Rucker. It was some of the best high school football in the state of New York. I will say that.
But some of the kids don't play high school and play youth. They have to choose?
They have to choose because there are so many schools, especially when you're looking at academics as well. Keep in mind, I'm a teacher first. There's so many really great academic institutions that don't have football. In all of Harlem, there's like 2 teams. It's basically GW, which is all the way up in the Heights. The Harlem Hellfighters were around for a while or what have you. But other than that, there is no access for a kid living in Harlem. Harlem Jets will get you there.
So the kids, not all the kids, but some of the kids can get a scholarship.
The Harlem Jets funnel those kids into some of the top Catholic schools in the area. They're known for being a football factory, and their kids go all over the place, and that's why they end up in these high schools, and that's why they also end up playing in college. So from a percentage-wise, the Harlem Jet graduation rate ends up going very high when it comes to kids playing in college.
High school is concerned.
Absolutely.
So how do we take care, because high school, you have to have an academic commitment. How did that happen in your program? How the academic commitment?
Well, that's always been a challenge. And in fact, there was a documentary, I think it was either on HBO or ESPN, of the gentleman who used to play for the Dallas Cowboys. He did the Harlem Hellfighters football program. And that program ended because he couldn't figure out how to be academically eligible with the players, because the players were coming from so many different schools. Yeah. Now, here's the thing. Now, I don't think that I am not pro-academics in every stretch of the imagination. But really, are we doing anything by penalizing these kids with football all the time? Like, take away football. Think about living.
Well, it's all about, in my opinion, it's all about being a student athlete.
Absolutely.
It's a commitment. If you want to get to if you want to get to the next level, if you want to play in NCAA, you got to have that
Indeed.
that,
So let me not even play devil's advocate. Let me just flat out, confrontationally speaking,
that's if
disagree
you want to
with
play.
you.
No, okay. That's if you want to play.
Think about this for a second. Traditionally speaking, we're always talking about, if they're not academically eligible, then we should pull them off the field, blah, blah, blah. Got it.
In high school.
In high school. Got it. No problem. Here's the thing. I grew up in Princeton, New Jersey. My dad played football for the Washington Redskins. I don't know struggle a day in my life. Okay? My dad probably paid in taxes what a lot of people made in a year. If I was pulled off the football field, what was I really I would sacrifice football theoretically, but what would I be left with? A lot. I'd be fine. What else are you going to pull from kids? Especially in the areas that you're dealing with.
Let me ask you this question. How did your parents get you to commit to academics so you could be your lawyer, you said, right? There's a lot of schooling. How did they get you to commit?
I have a legal background. How did I commit? Because
how did your parents get you to commit?
Because
in high school.
Because I wanted to.
That's where it starts.
Right. I wanted to go to college. I was on college campuses all the time. I grew up in Princeton, New Jersey. Every Saturday, I was at Princeton University's games watching Princeton University play football, including Jason Garrett and his brothers or what have you, who ended up being a horrible coach for the horrible Dallas Cowboys, for all you Cowboy fans out there. But nonetheless, so I grew up saying, oh, that's what I want to be. Now think about this with gangs and all the negative things in the neighborhood.
The average Bronx kid.
The average Bronx kid, it's not that they're attracted to that stuff. It's the only thing making the sales pitch to them. Who's putting them on college campuses every Saturday?
It's coaches that have to, like Coach Brown and
there's a few that are doing it.
Cardinal Hayes, they got a program that they take these kids.
There's a lot that are not doing it. By the way, I'll talk about my own people right now.
Yeah.
My own people. I have a chance to put my kids at Columbia University. There was one year that literally every home game for Columbia and Fordham, we were playing at halftime and putting kids on the field at Columbia University and Fordham University. Do you know how many times I had to argue with grown men that, look, it's week 3. I don't care who you're playing. Your kid has a chance to walk around campus at Columbia University. Your week 3 game can wait. I had to explain that to grown men.
My thing is, Mr. Patterson, is this. If we could say academics, right, made who you are, right, made who you are. When you took academics, education serious, it made you who you are.
I wouldn't say that. Passion. It just so happens that my passion is academics.
Okay. No, I'm saying
right.
So these high schools, right, that has an academic commitment, right? They have an academic commitment that you have to have a certain age group and they take football away from you, right? You don't think that's a real what can I say? Something that's really good? I mean,
no, it's not.
I don't understand.
It's not. And I'm in education. It's not. Because you're ultimately, what did you do to motivate that kid to say, oh, it's only losing something if the kid actually has an idea of what they are losing. They don't have an appreciation for what they're losing. And by the way, talk about the PSL for a second. Yeah. The PSAL is disgustingly underfunded.
Yeah, of course.
Right? So if you run an operation...
for a budget.
Right. If you run an operation that the head coach of the varsity program also has to do travel and also has to be medically certified or whatever because you're basically a trainer while you're coaching and this and that. What's your expectation? What are you really taking away? That, just give it to them.
You don't want to take away. No. I don't think it's designed to take away. It's got to be designed to the kid to make the right choices, because it's all about the kid making the right choices. Oh, it's time for me.
But your choices are only as valid as what's put on the plate, correct? And what are we putting on their
Well,
plates?
I mean, we have to deal with what's in front of us.
Okay,
Because
what's
some
in front
people
of them?
opportunities are different.
Gotcha.
You go to an appropriate school and you pay a tuition. Those opportunities, they're gonna have a lot of more opportunity than a public school.
So for our middle school kids, and I teach middle school, what are we putting on their plate? Because we have a lot of resources, and we have a lot of things that even I didn't have access to, and I grew up in privilege. Yeah. And we have a lot of things that we don't put in front of them. Why? Because we have coaches that are more worried about winning football games than.
Well, that's a whole different deal. I'm not gonna debate with you on that.
Okay, then.
I'm not gonna debate with you on that.
There you go.
But I am an advocate of putting high school kids and letting them know everything is on you, whether you fail or win or lose or
yeah, it's great. It's great to say
on you.
It's great to say academics first.
Yeah.
But think about the same television show you got that from. Their football games didn't look like the football games in New York City public schools. It didn't. I went to my old high school a couple weeks ago for a game. They are terrible, by the way. A terrible football team. Do you know how many people were in the stands? About 3,000 people were in the stands, and they are terrible. I mean, terrible. The marching band was there. Yeah. The cheerleaders were there. The concession stand was open. I almost wanted to punch the kid in the face, by the way, because when I asked for a game program, he looked at me like, what's a game program?
What is this, college or high school?
My high school.
High school, okay.
High school, 3,000 people. No, my college, Lehigh Lafayette, we sold out Yankee Stadium.
Yeah. I want to ask you this.
5,000.
I want you to ask you, which is important, a college education and how you get there. Which one is important?
A college education or how you get there? I think that, college worked for me. It doesn't work for everybody. We've gotten rid of all vocational programs for the most part. Some of our greatest vocational programs that have produced
of course.
Great people are shuttered or what have you. So it's college access for all, but really, is everybody built for college? No. And by the way, that's somebody who spends a lot of time on college campuses. And I know people probably who know me are sitting here like, oh my God, I can't believe Patterson is saying this. But when it comes down to it, I know one person with a house in the Hamptons. They do not have a college degree. They have a passion about repairing Mercedes-Benz and all type of exotic cars, but do not have a college degree.
Yeah. Do you follow Dion with Jackson State University? He had a quote at this. I hope I get it right. Mm-hmm. He told high school kids, stop chasing offers. Stop chasing offers. Chase grade average. Chase SAT scores. Chase, if I remember, chase the gym. Chase getting better.
The process.
We've
created a generation of ring chasers.
Yeah.
All of our conversations about sports are about championships. Because as though championships are easy, and they're not.
This is the thing. Like my friend that I grew up, he has a kid. He's like a nephew of mine. Good youth football career. He catch the rain out the sky. He showed me all these highlights, and he barely made 65. And he played for high school, and I know the coach, and we went to a meeting, and he says, Mill, the coach came up to see him, asked him what his grade average was, and he turned around. The coach was trying to get him to talk to him. It's too late. It's too late.
But didn't I say over and over again, middle school? I said middle school, right?
And I told his father.
Middle school.
I told his father, listen, the education side of it is just important. Mm-hmm. Then,
how many youth football teams get involved in middle school choice or know what middle school choice is?
Well, I know they recruit in middle school, but
middle school is an application process. New York City in general is the education system is, and again, I work for the DOE. Yeah. It's insane to me. I went to West Windsor Plainsboro High School. Mm-hmm. I went to West Windsor Plainsboro Middle School. I went to West Windsor Plainsboro Elementary School. So it didn't matter what my grades were. Whether as long as I passed, I went on to the next grade. It didn't affect what school I attended. Yeah. So in New York City, you literally can make a mistake in middle school that literally can prevent you from getting into an Ivy League school.
Have you ever had a tutor?
Have I ever? Yes.
All right. So I know parents would get their kid a trainer before they get a tutor.
Yeah. Oh,
and just weird.
oh
I'm
yeah,
like,
it's weird.
you get a kid in high
Because
school.
they think that
Yeah.
that making a college football
Yeah,
roster
but how do you
is
gonna,
easy.
But how are you going to do it? It's an academic thing.
Yeah,
You know?
and touching upon the older, like again,
Yeah.
I have players that are older,
And we're not even talking about D1, D2 and none of that. We're
Right.
just talking about,
And by the way, you have a better shot at
Yeah.
going to like if you academically qualify. And in fact, I had a player that was asking me, "Oh, how do I get onto this?" Or "How do you know what? Do you have any connections?" Well, you know what, Dexter Manley. I'm not sure if you remember Dexter Manley.
nah.
Played for the Washington Redskins.
Oh, yeah.
Great. I think it was a D tackle or DN.
Yeah.
Word number 72. He was a functional illiterate. He could
Yes,
not
I know his story.
read or
yes,
write.
I know his story, yes.
Went to the University of South Carolina. Now, those days are over.
They are.
Because for every dude that plays like Dexter Manley, there's
Yeah.
5 more that have the grades to do
Yeah.
it. You can't be that guy anymore.
Yeah.
You can't be like LT. You can't. Those days are over.
I was in the clinic in Jersey. You ever go to the Glacier Clinic? And I was talking to a college coach, and he said, I'd rather get a player that goes to class. We could teach him everything else.
You teach them everything else. Yeah. So especially
Yeah.
when it comes to, and again, I deal with players when they're getting older. You had issues. You got into some issues, or you just couldn't find the way. Or there's so many guidance counselors that are not guiding our kids that they just got lost, right? So now, how do I play football? Well, first thing you have to do, if you are not going directly from high school directly into college, is academically qualify for the institution. If you academically qualify for whatever the college is, then just try for the football team.
So getting back, your particular program, the kids that don't go to football programs, right? They go to a good high school that doesn't have a program. The academics may be a little better and been a little offering a different, maybe trade or whatever.
Correct.
They still can play. They still can play youth football, and also those who came in late can still play youth football
And can still have a high school football. So
Yeah.
like the Van Cortlandt Titans,
Yeah.
great program, by the way. Coach Mack does an amazing job. His specialization is from like 14 years old to 17 years old. So they could play up until 17. So if you don't have a high school football team where you are attending, he will take you in. He's not taking kids from high schools that you can't play there because you're academically ineligible. Come play with me. He's not doing that. He's servicing the community, especially the community schools that don't have football.
So, the end of the day, when they get to 17 and a college coach say, "Hey, Mr. Patterson, this kid, blah blah blah," how did that process work?
Process works pretty easily. At the Van Cortlandt Titans, they film their games. Are they the kids at the Van Cortlandt Titans going to be like a signing day guy? And again, that's
they're going to fill the team.
right.
Fill the
That's
roster.
it.
Yeah.
That's an
Okay.
That's an ESPN fallacy. Like everybody,
Okay.
I'm going to make, and that's LeBron messing everybody up, because a lot of these dudes think that they are like I'm going to announce where I'm going to go. Nobody cares what you're announcing. You're not announcement worthy.
If I had a kid and they come to me, I had a coach friend. He has a kid and he wants his kid to go to Alabama, and we laugh about this. He said, and Nick Saban, that's the coach, right? And Nick Saban knocks on my door and say, my kid wants to be the holder of the field goal guy. Get ready.
Go ahead.
You go it. No,
Yeah.
this is the holder. No, we want your kid just to be. Go ahead. Go.
Doesn't matter.
He said,
I was there. I was there.
College
Absolutely.
is more important to him. College is more important.
And they don't even know that from an academic. And by the way, the quarterback from Princeton, I'm not sure if he's still there or not, because again, COVID's been, it feels like the last 10 years. But the quarterback from Princeton turned down Alabama.
Wow.
Because it's Princeton.
Wow. All right, we're going to go to a commercial break. We're going to wrap up with Mr. Patterson. I know his time is busy. We're going to wrap it up, and we'll be back after these paying some bills.
A community fundraiser. Each of us helps one of us. Think of a community hit with an epidemic that created financial devastation, massive unemployment, housing problems, and food shortages. To help the community to weather the tough times ahead, we must pull our resources together and create a cycle of funding. A one-time resource is help required. Each of us helps one of us with this continuously cycle of support. We'll relieve the burden off of you, the individual, with the help from the community. To join our community, email us at eachofushelpsoneofus@gmail.com. Leave your name and date of birth, and we'll send you the instruction video.
To create a perfect student athlete, you must enhance these attributes: mind, body, and soul. In other words, education, fitness, and nutrition must be a part of your life. And it starts right here at the New York City Youth Sports Initiative.
Here's 5 ways to support NYC Youth Sports Podcast Show. 1. Push the subscribe button, like it, and leave a comment. 2. Donation. What you can. It will be appreciated. 3. Promote what you're doing or your kid's achievement in youth sports with our $10 on-the-screen ad spot. $10 per show or $30 a month. 4. Share this podcast show with others on social media. 5. Buy our show's apparel on Amazon.com. Thank you for your participation.
We're back, NYC Youth Sports, and we got David Patterson, Pioneer League, and we get ready to wrap it up. Very busy, man. I want to thank you for coming out, and I want you to tell us what is your vision for your Pioneer League? What is the vision?
Oh, awesome. My vision is just to empower anybody who's looking to make a difference and get kids off the street. I have New York Patriots softball, for example. So Miss Melissa, the one that directs that program, she just came to me. She says, I love the New York Patriots football team. We travel to Canada all the way down, like up and down the East Coast. I love what you're doing. I'd like to do something for the girls. So that's how Patriots softball was born. So although, I get to talk about it and be like, the proud grandpa who has birthed a lot of things or what have you, but that's really where my passion lies now, where she's doing an amazing job. And I have 16U, 18U, and 23U, especially that age group. And I know that you're focused
in softball? In
softball, yeah.
Okay.
So I know that your focus is usually the little guys.
Yeah.
I get
but
that.
But you open my eyes to,
but when they get older, we just treat them horribly. Like, and they could provide some really good entertainment, especially for the younger kids. And if you hold on to these kids throughout those years from 16 even up to 24 and really give them a great experience, then guess what? They're going to be coaches that are going to look a lot different than some of the coaches that are plaguing the game right now. They're going to be coaches that have gone through the system, that are disciplined. They're not one of those coaches that are, taking plays off of Madden and trying to do that on the weekends or whatever. So we with the Patriots and the Harlem Gators and all the programs that we have, on the adult level, we try our best to get the people in program to be the next visionaries in terms of promotion up the line, as you call it.
Yeah. But what we're trying to do here at this podcast is the reason why we stay to the younger kids, because number one, it's not really anybody servicing that fully across the board. Youth sports across the board. In the older kids, because maybe is what I'm seeing. The older kids is the testosterone, the peer pressure. It's really tough,
What
And
role models do they have? Like, what structures do they have?
The thing is that if you look at youth football, and you look at from tiny mites, junior mites, 8U, 9U, 10U, the parents' participation gets less and less and less as you go up.
Mm-hmm. True.
I haven't seen unless their kid, knowing their kid is pretty much going to a high school. I'm not saying they go away, but it's not.
And when they reach our programs at the older level, there's the same thing, like less and less parents.
Less parents.
Indeed, and isn't that the time where they need more families? So like,
I mean, they need a lot of,
and a lot of them are paying their fees with their own money. It's no longer mom's money.
Yeah.
So it means more to them. So it is something that they need to have attention on.
I just had I was doing, I was not doing it personally, but I was involved with, we had a promoter here that was doing tournaments, and the 14U kids, I witnessed 2 fights with the bigger kids, and I was like, oh, I'm staying down here.
That's the 14 is the bigger kids? The 14s will get up and aggressive until there's 17s around. When the 17s are around, the 14s are.
I'm saying that
the 14s act like babies when the 17s are around. That's why you keep the 17s around. Mm-hmm. And by the way, when the Titans are getting a little we bring the Patriots in, and when the Patriots are around, the Titans they calm that stuff down.
Okay.
But again, that's the OG formula. That's always what it's been, right? Yeah. So when you're around the younger generation that are still grown men. They calm it down, do they not? So some of these coaches that are doing all that wild stuff, when they see you around, they calm their stuff down, don't they? That's what men do, especially black men. That's what we do.
Those who've been born a certain type of year, but these kids now, you don't want to. You might have to put hands on them, and you don't want to
Then you have the wrong people around you. If it results in that, you have the wrong people around you.
But I try to reach them and talk to them and I usually reach some, and then you still get the knuckleheads
because you're missing the middle area again, and that's black culture, by the way. It's been black culture since day one. Yeah, it's always been told from generation to generation. You're skipping a generation.
It's a breakdown of the family structure also.
Yes, indeed. So you're breaking down the family structure by going and stopping at 14.
Yeah. 13.
There you go. You stopping at 13. You're messing with the family structure.
I'm glad I met you. You opened my eyes to certain things, and when this show gets more and more legs underneath them, we will be coming up and doing that also. Other things that other people involved in things, and we'll be doing that. But we are interested in coming out and seeing some new games, and I'm gonna get talking to Sean Garbolt later, president, and I'm very interested in what he got, because it's a program, and how your programs grow is to let people know, and you can't be afraid, because that's the way it is. That's the way it is. You got to keep moving.
Can I do a promo for this?
Yeah, sure. You got the mic. Go ahead, do it.
I appreciate that. So with the same grace of everybody being at the family dinner, so to speak, and not leaving anybody out, this Friday at Cooney Grower Field. It's off of Bailey, and I think it's 223rd. We have we call it Uptown Vibe. So some of our older programs, we distance ourselves from the little guys sometimes to have a little bit of adult time, not too much adult, but whatever. We're having a softball game between our 23 and under girls Patriots and our football team boys Patriots, or men, I should say. And it's just, friendly. Let's go out there, have a block party. I have a drum line, ice cold drum line from Mount Vernon. Bunch of kids going to be on the drums or what have you. And we're going to do a pep rally because the Harlem Gators on Sunday have a big playoff game against the Brooklyn Pharaohs. That game.
And that's semi-pro.
That is semi-pro.
Okay.
And that game is Sunday at 5 o'clock at Betsy Head Park in Brooklyn. So we're doing Saturday night, everybody kind of stay out of trouble, play some softball, get some food, concession stand and such, and then Sunday's the big game at 5 o'clock.
Are you familiar with our site, New York, number 4 for New York? Facebook.
Well, now I am.
Put it on there. Anything going on in New York, I don't care what it is.
Beautiful.
Where to go, what to see, what's going on. We put it on that group because I wanted to do that with our podcast Facebook group, but everybody from out of state, I'm not interested in an event in Texas. I'm not going.
It's very hard to find, and I was telling you, I did not know where to find football games. The PSAL website is very tough to navigate, but finding football in New York City is very tough.
So this is why I did. I tell people and spread the word. As long as you got a New York City, New York County, and a New York State event, post it on there. It's NY number 4 NY. And post it on there, and we accept all posts, so people know where to go and what to see.
Makes sense.
So thanks a lot, man. Thanks a lot. We appreciate it. It was a nice show. And Sean, I get at you. Sean. I want to know what's going on, what's cooking up there with your league, and what's going on, how we can help, and what we can get it out there and get it more stronger and more stuff. So thanks a lot. Thanks a lot, David.
Yes, sir.
For showing up. And we're going to come back and talk about what happened in football this week. And NYC Youth Sports will be back after the break.
A community fundraiser. Each of us helps one of us. Think of a community hit with an epidemic that created financial devastation, massive unemployment, housing problems, and food shortages. To help the community to weather the tough times ahead, we must pull our resources together and create a cycle of funding. A one-time resource is help required. Each of us helps one of us. With this continuously cycle of support, we'll relieve the burden off of you, the individual, with the help from the community. To join our community, email us at eachofushelpsoneofus@gmail.com. Leave your name and date of birth, and we'll send you the instruction video.
To create a perfect student athlete, you must enhance these attributes: mind, body, and soul. In other words, education, fitness, and nutrition must be a part of your life. And it starts right here at the New York City Youth Sports Initiative.
Here's 5 ways to support NYC Youth Sports Podcast Show. 1. Push the subscribe button, like it, and leave a comment. 2. Donation. What you can. It will be appreciated. 3. Promote what you're doing or your kid's achievement in youth sports with our $10 on-the-screen ad spot. $10 per show or $30 a month. 4. Share this podcast show with others on social media. 5. Buy our show's apparel on Amazon.com. Thank you for your participation.
NYC Youth Sports Podcast Show. Uncle Milt, Joe, we here. I was in Jersey on Saturday night and saw that Hudson County and Brooklyn Chiefs at the non-U division, and it was a good game. I'm gonna say this, it was exciting, and Hudson County, with their speed and they spread the game out, and that's a game that could have been different if fundamentally tackling was the key. The Chief tackling as a whole team was not good at all. Not good at all. The defense plan was very good. It was aggressive. They was getting in the backfield, but they wasn't tackling. They wasn't making physical contact and, trying to reach out and tackle these kids. And Hudson County with the speed. And even though Hudson County was blocking on the second level very well, they was very physical, but I felt that the Chiefs could have been in this game and maybe won it. Because all 4 touchdowns that Hudson County had was from missed tackling. They was there. They was there in the backfield. They was there, and if the end missed tackle and the corner is blocked, the linebacker comes up. Linebacker was there, and it was just bad tackling for Brooklyn Chiefs non-U. It was just bad tackling. It's not Coach Devine. He settled down. He went to power. He had them controlled. Scored 2 touchdowns. And I think that if they would have tackled better, I think they'd still be playing that game right now. For real, because it was that good of a game. I know there was a lot of press about it. About a couple of coaches from Hudson County is talking, things like that. But I saw what I saw. I was so frustrated, I yelled it out in the stand. Y'all don't tackle, man. Y'all not going to win this game. And not taking away from Hudson County, I mean, they're a pretty good team when they spread you out. And I like how they blocked on the second level. They were very physical. And on defense, you can't just stand around. You gotta move. And I just think it was very bad that the defense tackling individual and as a whole, as a team, didn't show up. They didn't show up in that game. So this is the results when fundamentals, kids, this is the result when you don't take fundamentals serious about, this game comes down to blocking and tackling. And this is how you get scores and you win games. And it was just not good. It was just not good. They were there. The defense, Coach High, you called up a good defense. You had the kids in the black field, but they just couldn't get them down on the ground. It was a lot of touching and bouncing, and the kid, that quarterback and that running back is very elusive. And if you don't put a body on them, if you don't hit them and wrap them up, this is what happens. So I think we're going to see something different in the Super Bowl. If they two meet in the Super Bowl, I think they're going to see something different. Not forgetting, if I'm not mistaken, I think the Knights there, they pretty good. I saw them play this summer in Brooklyn, Saints, non-U, and they pretty good. So the Knights from New Jersey, they're 6-0 too. So let's see what happens, man. Let's see what happens. Shout out to Coach Malik, undefeated 10U, undefeated. They went out to Hempstead, and that was a thriller to the last minute. Shout out to Coach Skeeter and his kids, and because last year when they played in Super Bowl, it was the Super Bowl, and they played a good game before that. It always came down to the last ride, and that team. You can, both of them both teams is in it to the last, and there was reports that Skeeter was leading the whole game, and it was just that at the end, which he did last year. He did it to the Chief last year, and I guess it's some payback this year that at the end the Chief pulled it out. Shout out to Coach Malik, and I try to reach out to you. And your communications is something wrong with it, but I try to reach out to give you congratulations on your win. I was talking to a coach about I said I was gonna start some trouble, man. I was start. I know the Mr. The Mr. Professional of the week, the Howard Hughes of youth football. I heard he's on vacation, but I'm gonna start some trouble with his playoffs. I was working it out, and I realized that he wants to do 2 rounds. He wants to do a South and North, and he wants to do a 2-round, and then he don't want the South and the North play together in playoffs. But I don't know how you're gonna do it because it looking. I put it together. I put a chart together, and I'm gonna put it on Facebook tonight. But I left it home, rushing out to get here, and I left it home, and I had made a chart from 8 to 13 D1 North and South, how the standards should be playing playoffs in Super Bowl. That we could get a competitive playoff, North and South together. North and South together, and we could, man, it's across the board. It's looking good, and I wanted to bring it here and put it on the screen for you guys, but I left it this on, but I will put it on Facebook, and maybe next week we could talk about it because this is their last week, and next week we could come and talk about it how Uncle Milt's youth fantasy football standards on how it should be, as far as the playoffs and stuff like that. Also the D1, I don't know what they're gonna do with that. I'm looking at it from 8, 9, 10, 11. Wow. 12. Wow. 12, 13. Really from 8 to 11 is just I don't know what you're gonna do with this. I don't know what you're gonna do with 8U. You got the Bombers at 1-4, Steelers at 1-4, Kings at 0-5. What are you gonna make out of that? Ravens 2-4, Cougars 1 at 9U, 2-4, Cougars 1-5, Silverbacks 1-5. 10U Bombers 1-5, Steelers 0-5, Tomahawks 1-4, 11U Kings 1-3-1, Ravens 1-4, Silverbacks 0-4-1. What are you gonna do with that? I don't know, man. Wow, that's just like. I don't want to say because I don't want nobody telling me, Milt, the kids, and I don't want to hear that. I'm tired of that. We doing stuff for the kids. I'm tired of that. Do something for the kids and take them out their misery. There's no way that it's gonna be. I don't know if any coach want to be in a playoff or Super Bowl with records like this. I know. They got a butt whipping from the D1 teams. Is what it is. I don't know why, but it's what it is. But this is the results when you play a bunch of D1 teams. This is the results. But it's not, I don't know what you're going to do with this. It was me, I read it. Listen, man, I'm going home. I don't know. I mean, this is D1. Bombers at 5-1 at 12U. Set them up. They should be playing D1 teams in the playoffs of Super Bowl. Chiefs 2-3-1. Steelers 2-3. Tomahawks 1-4. Kings 1-4. Cougars 0-6. 13U Bombers 5-1. Set them up. Steelers 4-2. Set them up. Let them play in the D1 playoffs of Super Bowl. Let them have a chance to play in the D1 playoffs. See what happens. That's what I mean. Ravens 1-5. I mean, wow. I'm sure coaches that's coaching these teams, they want to go home. They want to go home. I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong. Call me up. Any coach, D2 Big Apple, any coach with these records want to continue to play, please call me up and tell me, Uncle Milt is wrong to even say that. I want to play. I want to play the Super Bowl. I mean, the playoffs of Super Bowl. I want to play. And I wanted to make sense of it. I mean, me, I would rather go home. It wasn't, it was like, we got work. We got work to do, whatever. But I don't know how you're going to do this. And, maybe you have a thought in mind. Maybe you should. I have a thought because you have a lot of teams in D1 and D2. And maybe you could bring up, come on, you could bring up the Bombers, the Steelers, and the other Bombers in 13U. You can bring them up. Bring them up and let them play. Probably because if you do have to have 2 Super Bowls, maybe you could call that D2 something different, and have them play some of these other teams in D1 and see what you could do with this. Because there's nothing you can do with an 0-5 record, a 1-5 record, is 1-4 record. It's nothing you can really do with them. 1-3 and 1. 1-4. What are you going to do with these teams? Wow, 2, 3 and 1, 2, 3. I mean, maybe you should need maybe you should probably add the lower part of D1 with these, North and South D1 and with these, and maybe you could have something, like maybe a bowl tournament or whatever situation and see what you can get out of that. But I made a chart and I'm gonna put it out and we're gonna talk about it next week. We're gonna get out of here early, but it was a good interview and I got this I have this to say. I had a conversation with a coach and we good right now. It was a conversation on the phone about what I do here on this podcast show. I like to tell people, I take what I do serious. I am legally in the state of New York, 501c legally as a sports media company. I don't claim to have the education, the degrees on doing sports journalists, but I learning as I go. My attentions is to get stories that means something to me and something to my viewers. I get calls, I get emails, I get texts about different things happening, some good, some bad. I go through them and I decide to go after them, to find out what's going on. My process is it's always 2 sides to a story. So when I go out and investigate and go out and find out a story that I like, I try to get both parties involved. I will call the person that's in charge. Could be a league president, could be an organization president, someone that can answer the question, and I call them. And I told them that I'm working on a story, or is the rumor out there, blah blah blah. And that's what I do. I'm not calling up to stir up mess. I'm not calling up to embarrass anybody. I'm not calling up to TMZ anybody. It's a story, and I always give people 3 options: is to 1, no comment. No comment. 2 is off the record, and we have a conversation. That we kind of like. That's when you could come clean, Milt, it's this way, and blah, 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 and this, what can we do? And then we'll talk more about it. And 3 is the truth. That's it. I don't care about nothing else but those 3. But I do respect the person who's giving me the story, and I also respect the person that's involved in the story. And I ask them to respect what I do on this platform. I respect your platform. I talk about it. I mention it on my show. I give a lot of production, time and produce, promoting what you do. Some things we do production work with it, and that's what I do here. Respect it. If you don't respect me, respect what I do and what I'm about, and be professional. At the end of the day, be professional. Because it's a tough question to answer. You have 3 ways of doing it. Always be mindful of it. Like I said, 3 ways of answering the question when I ask with Uncle Milt. Now, not answering the question and putting the question out on a platform that you can't respond to, or you can't get to ask the other question to you, is unprofessional. Telling people to not answer the question is unprofessional. That shows that you're hiding something. That only makes it worse. Who are you, Uncle Milt? Who are you to call up me and ask me a question? I told you who I am. I'm registered in the state of New York as a sports media company. I have a 501c, and this is what I do on this platform. This is what I invest my time, my resources, me and my partner Joe, and this is what we do every week. So respect that. And we care about all the kids, not just some, all of them. And we do a service to our listeners to ask you a question because you're doing something for the kids. So never feel free that I'm not playing those gotcha games and all that. Remember, when you feel like, oh man, this Uncle Milt on the phone, man, well, damn, call me up. You got 3 ways to answer it. No comment, Milt. I'm gonna say no comment. But don't feel free that you gotta answer it with some BS. Because I'm gonna see through it. I know half of the story anyway. When I call you, I'm just getting your side of it, and then I'm debating what it is. I might ask another question, but that's the way it is. That's where I am. I'm the media. Well, and that's what I do. So you had 3 ways. I'm going to keep repeating it. Before you come out with an insult, before you come out with a and getting in your feelings about it, you have 3 ways of no comment. That's the no comment. No comment. Keep it moving. But I understand why you gotta shoot back or fire back, because it's the truth. I know it's the truth. Sometimes those questions are hard to answer, but you have to think about it before you do it. And I got a video. You got the video up? I got a video. I want to put it. I love this video on Facebook. This video that I found, and this woman tells it all about pretty much what we do here on this podcast, and what I try to do in life, because I'm a human being too. So we got the clip up. Let's put the clip up and we're going to get out of here. But listen to this clip and listen to the young lady, what she said.
We live in weird times, fam, where people are more connected to their opinion of the truth than to the truth itself, which means that having integrity ain't for the faint-hearted. Because this shit requires endurance, mental and spiritual fortitude. Because life won't naturally test you. It's the people who ain't doing the work to evolve who gonna test you a little bit more. And we gotta stay solid regardless of where the test comes from. And it's unfortunate when people are more eager to be right than to do what's right. Or to do what's easiest for them instead of doing what the honest thing is, which is sometimes the hardest thing. Or they do what's popular instead of what's real. Like, yo, deadass, I've had a few people think I went against them, all because I chose to be on the side of the truth instead of on the side of the bullshit or the side of fear or the side where love was missing. It's like healing, being real with yourself and including God in all your decisions is not offensive, and everybody got an opinion, and opinions be louder than the truth these days. So having integrity and being in tune comes with a lot of responsibility, and sometimes being responsible is low-key exhausting as fuck. So please take good care of yourself and stay close to the ones where y'all support each other's evolution, even when it gets messy, because that's how we keep the necessary energy flowing to push things forward. You know what I'm saying?
That's what we are here at the Podcast Show. So we'll be back next week. Good night. God bless. We'll be back. We're going to post that standings on Facebook and get your opinions, but we're going to talk about it next week, okay? All right, guys. Good night. Thanks for listening.